Thank you very much for your time. I'm Leonardo, CEO of Ideia Space. And at Idea Space, we believe that the space is our classroom. So, from the beginning, we really truly believe that, as Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon that I can use to change the world. And from here, I'm gonna give you a quickly overview of how we are doing that in Brazil. So, our inspiration starts ever since the mankind has created itself, that we understand ourselves as a human being, we look to the sky for inspiration. So once we do that, we start to think about the stars, about how we can get close to the stars, and that is the first kind of inspiration. So we always say the small children here in Brazil, in South America, in Africa continent, and Asia, thinking about being an astronaut. And at Ideia Space, we were born in Brasília, Brazil, and we work with space education for K-12 students, and also from the beginning levels to the final levels of the K-12. Our mission is to enable students to become protagonists of their education through space technology, and we did that by developing 5 steps of how we can teach about space using the pocket cubes in the classrooms. So there is some pictures of our class. And we commit to create a new environment for the students can thrive himself in the growth of the potential and the future professional. And some of our students, and the great inspiration that we have is that when you work in a space mission, you don't work by yourself. You work with a team of different backgrounds that you can put together a way that you can collaborate. So we're gonna have the engineer teams that just used to be our side, but you need the people that work in the social field, the people that work with the geography to get inside the monitoring and deliver a solution to the society. And by that, we create a problem-based learning methodology. So the students can solve a problem through the space mission inside the classroom. Here's some examples. So our first MVP, we select a price like £50 for 5 students in Brasília. They pay for spend a whole weekend with us, and during that weekend, we are able to teach them, okay, how you think about the space mission, how you do concept that, how do you start to work on the satellite, and finalize to get the interest. Like this girl over here, it's one of our first students, and he got approval on Caltech to study astrophysics. So that's the impact that I believe that space education can do for the students. And here you have a project that you play in that you worked in a foster home in Brasília, Brazil, and we have 20 students in the foster home. And once you go to a place that the students don't have the self-esteem to thinking about themselves and about the future, and you start to teach them about the space tech and how they can thrive in a new environment. Once you begin the project, 100% of them thinking about being a cop or maybe a police officer, something that's working in law enforcement, because they family is kind of a victim of law enforcement in the Brazil region. After that, we're able to turn their mind so they can become a scientist and the engineering work in a simple project during 4 months on the space education. That's on the MVP level. And for the same project, we also did in the secondary level with students of the same region. And at the end, we are able to create new minds that are thinking about a new environment and also new ways of create solution about the space sector. And that's the methodology. So it's 5 steps so you can think and design a whole space mission. The first one is to concept. At this stage, the students gonna start to understand what is a space mission and concept it by yourself. So understand the type of satellites, type of orbit, and how you can manage to get into orbit, and what solution can you bring to your community. After that, they start the project of the space mission, and during they start the project, they're gonna start to discuss, okay, I just have like a tiny satellite, a pocket cube satellite, what can I fit inside, and what we can manage to do with that, and do some resource management in discussion with the whole team. So people that work in the solution, in delivering the solution to the society, has to do some compromise in order the engineer team can grow, and the engineer team also need to do some compromise in order the social side also to work. Then they go to the phase of building the satellites, and on the building process of the satellites, they actually gonna be deliver a kit of the satellite, and with that kit, they're going to be able to assemble, testing, and do all the integration process, so they can feel the real process of engineering during the K-12 level of education. In the launch process, it's when our partnership that has been built with Alba kick off, so the students can feel the mission, a communication mission that they're going to build with the satellite, and they integrate with the solution that already thought in the previous steps. And the application, it's when you see like the work that they have done to be delivered to the society. So they're gonna be thinking on space missions such as monitoring the heat humidity in the region, so we can avoid people that go to the hospital because the heat humidity is so low. When you have like in the equatorial level, there is some place with 3 million, 5 million, 6 million people that live in those places, and the heat humidity stay below the 50%, reach up to 6% of heat humidity during a certain period of the year. And the people do go to the hospital, do the hydration. So one student of ours thinking about a mission that it can put sensor of the heat humidity around the town and send alerts so the people can get hydration and do not go to the hospital without needing. And that's how it play out. In the Brazilian education system, we have what's called the BNCC, that's the Brazilian National Common Curriculum, so the students can have it. And the free space education, we are able to reach almost 60% of the Brazilian National Common Curriculum. So that means that we can not just give a support, but be an important role during the education process of the students. And here the skills that we aim to develop with the students. So first, the hard skills. As a team, we truly believe that right now our young professionals, our young students, it's really not learning how to develop and think with the scientific mind. So that's one thing that you want to develop the students, the scientific methodology, so they can think in a way that can have they can create a solution, but following the correct steps of creating that solution. Then the data analysis, because data right now is one of the key components of tech in the world. Robotics and programming are also one of the key future for professionals, and the project management. So after the pandemic, we could see that students not integrating so well. So when you put some project management in the skills that they need to develop, we start to see that they're going to be able to integrate more well and be more ready to the future of the profession that they have. And for the soft skill, we have the creativity, because the way that we teach, the students on the center, so they're going to be always the one that's going to be pushing forward the discussion of what they are doing. Communication, decision making together, teamwork, and the problem solving skills, so they can be more minded and focused on the solution otherwise than the problem. And here the process that you have to work right now. So what do we done once we do a project, as we're doing right now in Azerbaijan and Saudi Arabia and also Brazilian? We play a long time just to have a discussion in the diagnosis. So what the school or the government need to implement space education in that place. Then we follow with the adaptation of the methodology. So our classroom material, it's adapted for the local place that we have clients on. Then also have all the feedbacks. Also we go back and forth with the feedbacks on the materials. We go for the adaptation and start the class for 6 months. During the 6 months, they're gonna pass through the phase or a competition model that we have. And at the end of the competition, the best students it's awarded to build the satellite and reach into orbit. And then it's the general overview. We can teach about space technology in 6-hour model, in 30 hours model for the K-12 students. With that, we can be on the counter or on the counter, after class, so during the class, the methodology. And that's the general of Ideia Space. So right now in Brazil, we are using the space education methodology through the Pocket Cube to raise space acknowledgement for K-12 students. Thank you very much.